Now, do I want to legally ban cousin marriage? I don't think I do. Now we're importing people to be murdered, and we're importing people to murder women. This is a migration problem. It's not a white British male problem. And then we start using social norms to shame people.
Correct.
You married your cousin, you're a bit of a weirdo. We start bring back social, societal shame.
Yes.
They will stop doing some of these things.
And there's a very interesting point about that racism, crime, all these things have started to increase again, but they're increasing because of the communities we've brought in here who are perpetrating these things.
A good one is domestic violence and the murder of women. So all the feminists are on TV going, oh, look at all these hundreds of women being murdered every day, men are evil, da, da, da. Actually, look at the women who are being murdered and look at the men who are doing the murdering.
Yeah.
Hardly any of them are white British. We've dealt with this problem.
Yeah.
Now we're importing people to be murdered, and we're importing people to murder women. This is a migration problem. It's not a white British male problem.
Yeah.
It's an immigration problem.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting point, isn't it? Where we actually started to create a decline in these activities, and now it's increasing again.
Domestic violence fell off a cliff 20 years ago.
Did it?
Fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
That was when they started changing the term domestic violence to domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Because there was hardly any violence towards women. Then we started including things like verbal abuse, withholding money from them. So now all these charities can continue fighting the good cause on behalf of feminists.
And getting their defined pension.
Because we changed domestic violence to domestic abuse. But when you use the term domestic abuse, we all think of violence.
But it's not.
The vast majority is not even violent. It's overtight. I mean, I'm not saying it's nice being called names or having no money, but it's not the same as violence.
Yeah, but you're right. Part of the thing that fuels this is these grotty charities, which exist to fund their employees and the chief execs and their defined contribution, defined benefit pensions. So Robert Jenrick of the Tories called this a medieval practice, this first cousin marriage. But the thing I was thinking about, and I've been thinking a lot about this week, is where were all the moderate Muslims in Parliament standing up at this point and saying, yes, this activity is unacceptable, it's barbaric, it shouldn't happen in Britain, in this country. Did you see any doing that? No,
I wouldn't expect any moderate Muslims to do that because most moderate Muslims actually believe in this.
Yeah. I think you and I have discussed this before.
Over 50% of the Pakistani community are married to first cousins.
Bloody hell.
So this isn't a minority where the moderate Muslims can criticise them. This is Pakistani community. This is a social norm for them. And I'm not even saying it's right or wrong. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't want it in this country for several reasons. The first reason is the cost to the NHS. NHS are spending billions on this. Welfare benefits are spending billions on it because they keep having kids who are disabled, so we pay for them now for the rest of their life. Apart from the NHS spending money on them, but the main reason is it makes these countries insular. And if we're going to make these countries less insular, we have to stop cousin marriage. Now, do I want to legally ban cousin marriage? I don't think I do.
Well, we don't need to. Oh, sorry, we've never needed to.
We've never needed to, but I'm not sure I'm comfortable with making a new law where we ban it. I'm not sure I want that because what comes after that?
Yes.
So I don't want to go involved in my life, so therefore I don't want it involved in their lives.
Yes, no, that's a really good point.
So I'm not sure what the answers are. Yeah. I'm not giving it that much thought.
I think the answer certainly is not, which is these last two governments seem to just focus on, is changing the law to try and change people's behaviour.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Just doesn't work. I mean, my view is if I got into power, I'd just get rid of half. What's your theory? For every new law you bring in, you get rid of two laws.
2 or 3, yeah.
And I think that's what we need to start doing now. So first cousin marriage was controlled by society.
Yeah.
That's the way to control things, as racism, and as I said before, when you and I talked about the N-word and the Paki word, my view is society controls that, and society did control it didn't it, over a period of time? But
there might not be an issue with cousin marriage in this country, or would heavily reduce it, if we stopped immigration.
Yes.
Because most of cousin marriage is bringing someone from abroad.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get him in the country.
Correct.
So let's ban all that, ban mass immigration, ban immigration.
Yeah.
That solves half the cousin marriage straight away.
Correct.
And then we start using social norms to shame people.
Correct.
You married your cousin, you're a bit of a weirdo. We start bring back social societal shame.
Yes.
They will stop doing some of these things. And then we also start saying things like our benefit system. You cannot claim benefits for your mentally impaired child because it's a cousin marriage, and we don't.
They're excluded.
And they're excluded now because you knew the risk when you did it. So those sort of things, I'm not saying I want those things, but they're things I would look at. I don't want the law being involved.
Yeah.